Hello to everyone, my name is Melvin Hardy. This is the Glen of Imaal Terrier, a young male at this time, is 2.5. We've had Glen of Imaal Terriers for the past 12 years. We originally started in German Shepherds and have been in them all our time in the dogs, and we graduated to a smaller dog. Unfortunately, we chose this little thing, which we thought would be a lot easier, but we're finding out there is just as much hard work involved in a small dog as there is a large one. The biggest problem with all dogs, and anybody choosing a dog, you get out of your dog what you put into it. If you're not prepared to do a bit of work and put something into it, you will get nothing out of your dog. As regards size and colour of the breed, they vary from a wheaten, which is this colour, to a very dark blue, which is this colour, and you can get any combination in between of a really red wheaten, a really pale blue, or a brindle, a mixture of the two. Physical description of a dog with a good substantial head, short muzzle, and a strong mouth. Most important in the breed itself is the front end of the dog is the working part, well, was the working part of the animal. All the power was in the head, the neck and the shoulders. They're a small dog, or I should say they're a large dog inside a small dog. They're very, very powerful, they're quite heavy, and a substantial dog on short legs. If you look at the mouth of a Glen, if you look at the teeth of them, you will find that it is a full-size mouth. It is not a normal terrier, narrow, small mouth. Our main activity with the Glen of Imaal Terrier and all our dogs being show dogs and done fairly well for us throughout their show time. We've got a couple of youngsters at the moment. They're causing us havoc, as they do, but they settle down as they grow older. They're a very amenable dog and do whatever you want them to do as long as you put some work into it. They originated in a remote valley at the time called the Glen of Imaal in County Wicklow, and they were a rough and ready farm dog. They were adept at doing anything that was required to be done. If they didn't do the job, they didn't eat. They had to work for a living. They weren't like this on the settee, doing nothing but still gets fed all day, whether it was herding or whether it was killing vermin. And they were very adept at tackling badgers and foxes. The normal procedure was for something to go to ground. They'd either dig out, then they'd dispatch the other dogs out of the way, poke this one in, and his job was to go in, secure the animal, whichever it was, and drag it out of its burrow. They don't do that now. It used to be part of a test in the olden days, but it's not done any longer now with these dogs. They're still capable of doing it, and there is still quite a strong prey drive with them. A Glen will adapt itself very easily to whatever situation it's placed in. The biggest population of these animals at this moment in time is in central London, living in flats and penthouses and ordinary houses. They can adapt to anything. We've got one down in London with an American couple, and he travels the tube, the bus, the train, anywhere the dog goes, anywhere they go, they take the dog. And if the dog's not welcome, they don't go. So they can adapt to any type of living. They're full of personality, and the most expressive part of a Glen is the eyes. You can talk to them and they will listen. They'll acknowledge you. They'll not turn their head while you're talking to them, but you'll see the whites of their eyes appear. Ears will go, eyes will turn, and you know they're listening to you, but they don't acknowledge it too much. They're a very good dog with a bit of training. They're not a dog that likes to be dominated. It's all coaxing and working with them to get them to do what you want them to do. They get on very well with other dogs as long as they're introduced properly and not just thrown in at the deep end. These dogs are the same as everybody else. You don't like everybody you meet. You can't expect your dog to. They are very good with children. One of the main things was when it was in the olden days, it was a farm dog and it was expected to work out in the fields and in the house as well and play with children and do whatever was required. It's just a case of they have to be gradually fed into the child's life. It's not, you do get problems sometimes, but it's not the dog's fault. It's the child that usually instigates something and the dog doesn't like it. And that goes for all breeds of dogs. They're quite a social animal, but they are just as happily being on their own. They like to be with people more than they do with other dogs. They are a person dog, and they like to socialise with everybody that comes and see what they've got and what they haven't got. The thing you will find with a Glen, you will be hoovered on arrival to see where you've been and what you've been doing. The sense of smell on these is tremendous. They probably make a very good sniffer dog. These dogs are capable of whatever you wish to do. They are quite happy to lay on the settee at the side of you all day, and they're quite happy to be out in the fields or out with you walking, and they're quite capable of doing it. They do tend to like a routine in their life. And they do get quite set in the ways when there is a routine established, which you talk to people that live in cities and such like. They take the dog out in the evening and the owner decides he wants to walk a different route. There's no chance. The dog gets where he wants to go. It gets to a corner, he wants to go left, he goes left, and the owner goes with it. To train them, food is the biggest generator of interest. Toys, they do tend to destroy, or they go to the total other extreme where they covet them. And we have Glens in various homes where one dog has probably 20 toys and he won't share it with anybody else. They don't fight about it, but she just won't let them have it. If they take it, she goes and fetches it back. And toys, they're very adept at de-stuffing a toy. There's none just around at the moment, but stuffed toys and such like they will play with quite happily, but they will make the tiniest hole in them and pull the stuffing out through it. It doesn't look as though they've done anything to it, but you end up with a flat toy. Not interested in it once they've got it out, it's just the act of getting it out. On a scale of 1 to 10 intelligence in this breed, I would say at least 8. They are very good at solving puzzles, and they are very good at avoiding doing what you want them to do. They will do it reluctantly, but they will do it in the end. In terms of grooming, you can do as much or as little as possible. If you tend to leave the coat in its natural state, you need to pass a comb through it rather than a brush, because they have got two coats, a downy undercoat and a long coat. And their downy undercoat does tend to felt up if you don't keep it tidy. They're not a dog that sheds. If you're showing it, then you will strip your dog probably a couple of times a year, but it's quite easy to do. You can see it in the dogs, the coat parts down the back. It's no detriment to the dog, and it comes out. If it doesn't come out at the slightest tease, then you don't bother it. It's not ready. Health-wise, not a great deal. There is a problem in the breed called PRA. Over the last 5-6 years has been a concerted effort with all Glen owners, with contributions such like to research done in Germany and in America, and we have now come up with a DNA test for that, so all dogs can be screened DNA to do their profiling that way. Sometimes they can suffer from skin problems. It's nothing new. They're not particularly allergic. We've had one down in London and he was allergic to every known thing there was in the universe. But it was just a case of guiding them through it, getting them onto different foods. Not every food suits every dog, and sometimes they get scratching and nibbling. And it's reasonably easy to cover, to cure. If and when you consider to buy a Glen of Imaal Terrier, the most important thing that we tell everybody, we get lots of people inquiring as to them that have never actually physically seen one. We've got loads of people around the country that are quite willing to have people visit them and look at an adult dog. That's the most important thing, because all pictures you see of the dogs, there is never no scale. So it's very difficult to get the size of the animal. We try to say, if you look at a 2-pound bag of sugar and stack it up 22 times, that is basically a Glen in substance. You must talk to people. Don't be satisfied with talking to one Glen owner, talk to 2 or 3, so that you build up a picture yourself of what the animal is. Always try to see, you will always see the mother when buying a puppy. You won't always see the dog, but you will certainly get a picture of the dog or the name of the dog. You'll get the name of the dog and everything else, all the medical and all the physical stuff that you can get with it.